Right, welcome back to the channel, guys, in another installment of battle reports in the 40k universe. And today we're playing across this half barren, half lush planet. As you can see, there's a couple of desert style rocks here moving across, and the planet's starting to recover, and with the lush green here. And we have a battle across this of the Thousand Suns versus the Grey Knights. Grey Knights debut on the channel for 8th edition. Last time they were back was a long time ago, back in 7th. So you may recognise the layout of the planet is slightly similar to the last time the Thousand Suns were on, and in that battle the Thousand Suns were causing a bit of a ruckus at the fuel line. So along the way the Grey Knights have been chasing them and they've finally caught up. So it's going to be a bit of a psychic mashup today, as well as a lot of heavy firepower. A couple of new units, especially units that may have been added to either force, but we will certainly have a look and see what army lists we have. But first of all, I did win the roll-off. It is Dawn of War deployment. We are playing Purge the Alien, very fitting. So I won the roll-off and I've elected for the Grey Knights to deploy first and go first, unless of course that I can seize. So as the guns from both sides of forces heat up, ready to take each other on, as you can see over there, Imperial presence has been detected. So with their forces over, with the compound over there, as we both get ready to take each other on, let's go and have a look at the army lists. Starting off first with the Grey Knights. Okay, so this is the Grey Knight force which will be taking on the Thousand Suns today. They've set up in the Imperial compound, very fitting. So over this side we have the strike team, just 5-man squad. Then we have the Purifiers with a side cannon in there, silencer. We have the Interceptors here as well, one with a Thunder Hammer. Basically what you see is what you get for these guys. We have the Warlord, which is a Grandmaster in a Nemesis Dreadnought with the weapons as you see, the Gatling Silencer and the Heavy Incinerator. We have the Terminator Squad here, a Venerable Dreadnought, and just in reserve for the Grey Knights, it is a battalion detachment of course, so 3 for battalion and 3 for battle forwards, so 6 command points for them today. In reserve is 2 Nemesis Dreadnoughts with the same configuration as this guy, but they have the swords as well. We have a Librarian in Terminator armour, and we also have another Terminator squad and a Calexis Assassin on the board today as well. So he'll be appearing somewhere around the lines today. So the Thousand Suns are not going to like his anti-psychic abilities. Speaking of psychics, so the Grey Knights for their powers, right, do you want to run through the powers, Graham?
Yes, we have the Grandmaster in the Dread Knight armour as Astral Aim. The Librarian has Gate of Infinity, Vortex of Doom. The Strike Squad has Hammer Hand. Terminator Squad has Vortex of Doom, which is the Terminator Squad in Deep Strike. The Terminator Squad on the board has Sanctuary.
That's these guys down here, yeah.
Yep. The Purifier Squad has Purge Soul.
Purge Soul for these ones, yep.
And the Dreadnought has Hammer Hand.
Has Hammer Hand.
Interceptors have got Gate of Infinity, and the 2 Dread Knights, like the Grandmaster Dread Knight, has Astral Aim.
Astral Aim, and of course Smite across the board as well.
Yeah.
Very good. So that's what the Thousand Suns have got to fight off today. They've been tracked down by the Grey Knights, so the Grey Knights are out for blood. Let's go and have a look and see what the Thousand Suns have brought. Alright, okay, so this is the Thousand Suns force that will be taking on Grey Knights today. There is one new addition today, so I will apologise now because he is not 100% painted. But if I took him out, I would be well under points. So just behind this rock here, actually before I run through what's in, we are running a super heavy auxiliary for Magnus, a patrol detachment and a supreme command detachment. So the supreme command detachment consists of 3 exalted sorcerers. So we have 1 sorcerer here, we have another one down here, which is the 30k version of Ahriman, but I'm using him as an exalted sorcerer. and of course this guy here. All the sorcerers, apart this one here has he has warp time and prescience. The rest of the exalted sorcerers have decided to take warp time and infernal gaze, and that is it for the supreme command detachment. Obviously Magnus has all the powers. The powers that I've chose for him, because he has access to the new ones as well, but I've decided to go with the ones in the index. So warp time, prescience, and infernal gaze, and of course smite. So we have a Chaos Predator here with the las cannons, as you can see. We have the Rubric squad behind there with the Soviet cannon, and the rest are all bolters. We have the Hellbrute, which has the missile launcher and the twin las. Like I say, I do apologise, he's not 100% done yet, but I was dying to use him, and so at least he's got a couple of colours on him. And we have the Warlord past here, Exalted Sorcerer on a disc. Powers he has is exactly the same, so he's got warp time, infernal gaze. And we have the Helldrake as well, Graham's favourite. So with the Baleflame and the Helldrake claws. So at the moment, that is the way that we have set up for deployment. So as you can see, just give you a look over. We have 4 command points, 3 for Battleforged, 1 for the Supreme Command, and the Grey Knights have 6. So at the moment it is Grey Knights going first, unless of course the Thousand Sons can attempt to seize the initiative. So on a roll of a 6, we do seize the initiative. So we'll be back after Thousand Sons, turn 1. Right, so as Magnus instills his will upon his legion to advance forward, they've already stole the initiative, so everybody is pretty much shifting up. Need to take the fight to the Grey Knights, and this is what we've done. So one Exalted Sorcerer has just pulled it round here just to lend some support against in case of any deep strikers as well for sighted powers. So the Chaos Land Raiders just come round here just with a nice view at the compound there. Magnus is taking the fight straight, so he's flew straight up 18 inches, smack bang in the middle of the valley here, and he's looking to hopefully get some psychic shenanigans off against the Grey Knights. As you can see, the Terminators at the end of the round have deep struck 10 inches away, just to make sure that we're away 9 inches, more than 9 inches, so they're looking to get some psychic powers and shooting into the Grey Knights straight away. Over this side, the Exalted Sorcerer's just shifted through, and this guy as well. Hellbrute's marching forward just in front of the Rubrics. Rubrics have just moved up as well. Their normal standard distance, haven't advanced. Nobody's advanced. Warlord is just back here. He'll be looking to hopefully lend some support that way as well. And the Helldrake has just come 30 inches across this way just to do a bit of a sort of envelope, I suppose, circling around like a vulture. Looking to see if we can pick off any Grey Knights. So that is the movement completed. The Grey Knights and now the Thousand Sons are now all on the board, so there's no further reserves. So we need to take the fight to the Grey Knights. So we'll come back after Psychic and Shooting phase. Right, so just back after Psychic and Shooting phase for the Thousand Sons on their turn 1. Shooting, not too good. Psychic was okay. But Psychic phase, we warp timed on the Predator, cast warp time from this guy here. Magnus cast Infernal Gaze onto this squad here, took out 2. And then Smite on this squad took out 2 as well. We also cast Smite from this squad onto the squad that was there, killed 1. But then firepower, we did elect to split our fire as well, but did no damage. So, but however, shooting, we managed to kill that squad there and gave us a kill point and first blood. Apart from that, nothing else. Couldn't cast warp time or anything like that with obviously 8th edition rules, which is a bit pants. I should have warp timed these guys, but hey ho. Apart from that, I am going to elect to do a charge. So I'm going to try to get the Terminators in. Just to say as well, we have also tried to use, we have used one of our command points. Because this guy in the shooting did absolutely pathetic. He rolled 2 1s and 2 2s to hit. Couldn't get prescience off because we'd rolled a double 1. So we used a command point, got a hit, and rolled a 1 to wound. And that was trying to fire at the Grandmaster over there. So did very poorly on shooting. But hopefully that is the end of the poor shooting. So going to try and get a charge in from the Terminators into the remaining Purifier squad there. So I reckon we need about a 10 to an 11-inch charge. No, on a 6. We won't get in. Of course, Graham will get Overwatch against us. But apart from that, we'll come back after the movement for Grey Knights on their turn 1. Right, so as we have just finished the movement phase for Grey Knights, the Grandmaster over there is dished his orders out. The teleport chambers have opened up. And we have some Terminators on the board. The Grey Knights, they're all here. So Terminator squad is deep struck here. Graham was trying to deploy behind lines around here, but the way that I positioned my force along this stretch, he couldn't because he was going to be within range. So a little bit of tactics there. So they've just deep struck in the middle of this ravine here. The Dreadnought is just moving up behind. So I suppose it's worked a little bit quite good because it means that they've got a bit of heavy support behind them as well. This Terminator squad is just sitting around the back of here. I suppose they're there to guard their master. These guys, they did pass morale, and they have just shifted forward. Looks as though they're going to take a little bit of the fight to the Terminators. Just moving across, however, looks as though the Helldrake is being sandwiched. So we have 1 Nemesis Dread Knight there, and 1 here. I don't think he's going to be there very much longer. Hopefully he will, but it has drew a bit of the firepower, I suppose, away from the rest of the force. But yet again, the way that I positioned, I suppose it's the only real target that they could have gone for now. Over this side, however, Warlord looks as though he's going to be in some trouble. He is being hunted by Calaxis Assassin. And the Librarian to back him up as well. And these guys teleported as well. They also passed their morale. So, Warlord, a little bit of trouble. Should do okay. Don't think he's in too much of a problem. It's mainly the Calaxis Assassin with his abilities I'm a little bit worried about. But he does have a little bit of backup this way from this side, so we could pull round on our turn. But it's not our turn at the moment, so we'll come back after Psychic Phase and shooting for the Grey Knights on their turn 1. Right, so just back after the Grey Knights Psychic and shooting phase. Psychic Phase, very poor for them. That was all pretty much down to Magnus denying 3 lots of Smite, and Smite being pretty much denied by the other guys. Didn't manage to get any powers off for that. Shooting, however, quite good for the Grey Knights on this turn. Dished out a wound on my Warlord. Came from the Calaxis Assassin with his special weapon as well. Over this side, combined firepower from the 2 twins here, sandwiching the Helldrake, reduced him down to 10, so he's not too bad over there. Moving across this side, firepower coming from the Venerable Dreadnought and the Terminators down here. Reduced the Chaos Predator down to 8 wounds. He's still absolutely fine there. And just a couple of pot shots coming in, just killed 1 of the Terminators down there. So apart from that, that is all of the shooting done. Do you have any assaults to set off, Graham?
Yep, I have 8.
What? You have 8 charges.
8
right.
charges to set off.
Okay, right, okay, so the Grey Knights are going for blood. So which charges are you wanting to do first?
We've got the Purifier squad.
So you've got these guys charging in.
Into your Terminators.
Is the Grandmaster going in as well?
The Grandmaster's going into the Terminators.
These guys, are they charging?
The Terminators going into your Predator.
Right, okay.
We have the 2 twins going into your Helldrake.
Okie doke, and then all of these?
The Colexus, the Librarian, and the Interceptor squad going into your Warlord.
Right, okay, so you are definitely anti-psychic hunters today. So where are we starting first then?
We will start at the Terminators into your Predator.
Terminators, these Terminators into the Predator. I will get Overwatch, so I will fire, hopefully get lots of 6s. So, oh nice, got a 6.
2s.
And 2s to wound. Yep, we got a 6. And a nice tasty 6 would be amazing here. We can only kill 1, but... Okay, there's 1 Terminator killed.
I'll get my
Oh yes,
invuln.
you get your invuln.
Nope.
No, there's 1 Terminator killed on Overwatch from that. Nicely done there. So we'll resolve the charge distance for these guys. So charging for them.
5.
On a 5.
Might not be in.
Don't think it's going to be in here.
Nope.
No, they are out. Not too bad there. So what we'll do next, obviously we will resolve the Overwatch everywhere else and also combats as well. We'll come back after the combat phase is finished and then we'll move into Thousand Suns on their turn 2. So we'll be back in a moment. Right, so I thought I'd just come back and resolve Overwatch first before the combats were, because Overwatch over here, we took out, as you saw, we took out the 1 Terminator from there. They failed to get in. Over this side, Overwatch against the Interceptor, the Purifier guys took out 1 of them, and we also took 1 wound off the Warlord. Moving across this way, Bear Flamer against both of these guys. 1 got in, 1 didn't. We took 1 wound off both of them. 2 wounds, sorry. And across this side, we attempted to do Overwatch and done no damages against anyone, because the way that it sounds that you can Overwatch against multiple targets, so that's the way we're playing it. And none of these got in. So Graham desperately wanted this anti-psychic assassin to get in, and he hasn't yet. By all means, he may. It looks as though I'm going to have to move him on my turn, get him away. He is being hunted. But apart from that, we'll come back after movement for Thousand Suns on their turn 2, after the combats has been resolved for the units that have made in combat. So we'll be back in a moment.
Over you.
Right, so we're just back. We just decided to come back in the middle of the combat phase here. So I thought I was dead cheeky when we did combat over there, and we'll cover that in a second what happened there. But over here, I just decided to be cheeky and I used 2 command points and interrupted, and I only managed to take 1 wound off. Graham's now used the Nemesis Greatsword against me, and these are my saves. For a 5-up invuln, and it's D6 damage a time. So the Helldrake has 10 wounds left. So I wanted to catch this on camera, so let's have a look. I'm wanting 1s and 2s here. So that's a 2. That's
3, 4, 5.
5, he's half dead.
6, 7.
Oh, if you get a 3, he's dead.
8, 9.
Oh, he's on 1 wound. He's on 1 wound. Right, just double check my math. 2, 4, 6, 8, yes, 9 wounds. That is took an absolute battering, but still very good. He's limping along. He's on 1 wound. He's going to be on critical damage, but very well played there. He is limping along, but we'll come back after the rest of the combat's been resolved. But what a combat over there. We'll be back in a moment. Right, so we're just back after combat and the movement phase for Thousand Suns on their turn 2. So combat, what you saw here was pretty much the end. No other damage there. So what we've done in movement, the flyer has come out of combat, still be able to fire. Infernal Regeneration, he got a wound back. The Rubrics have just moved up 5 inches. Hellbrute has just moved up as well. We've advanced with this Sorcerer. He's gone 11 inches that way. We'll pull back with the Warlord, his 12 inches coming across this way. Just moving across the right hand side of the screen as well, of the table. This site has just moved up the Exalted Sorcerer. We've dropped back a little bit with the Predator. The Terminators have tactically withdrew from that combat there, and Magnus looks as though he's going to take on the Warlord. He's come flying 18 inches across, looking to get some psychic shenanigans off, as well as getting into combat on the assault phase. So apart from that, we will come back after psychic phase and shooting for Thousand Suns on their turn 2. Right, so we're just back after Psychic and Shooting Phase for 1,000 Suns on their turn 2. Psychic Phase not too bad. Got Prescience from the Warlord, cast Prescience on the Rubrics. We tried to cast Smite a few times. We cast Smite from Magnus on the Grandmaster and took him down a wound. We also cast Infernal Gears over here and dropped one of the Terminators down to 1 wound as well. Apart from that, the Colexus Assassin was basically interfering with that. Shooting, we fired the Hellbrute and pretty much everything else. So what we did is first of all, we shot the Helldrake with his Baleful Aimer down at the Colexus Assassin. With those needing 6s to hit, obviously that automatically hits. We took 4 wounds off him, so he was left with 1 wound. We fired everything, so we fired the missile launcher and the lance cannon from the Hellbrute into him. Did no damage, didn't hit. Luckily, with the Soul Reaper cannon, we split fire. We shot the Soul Reaper cannon, we got 1 hit, and Graham failed his save, so we killed him. That gave us a point there. And then the rest of the bolters fired into the Librarian that was left on 1 wound and got us another point there. So at the moment, points-wise, we are currently on 6 kill points to none for the Grey Knights at the moment. Just moving across the board, we also shot, that'll actually put us on 7 points, sorry, because we also took out the Venerable Dreadnought with firepower from the Predator over here. So apart from that, that is the end of Shooting Phase. We do have 1 assault to set off, and that will be Magnus into the Warlord. So we will, of course, do Overwatch first of all, but we reckon we need about a 3-inch charge to gain into combat here. So I know we're doing it a little bit out of sequence here, but just going to roll to see if I get in, and then we'll resolve Overwatch. Okay, so on a 5, that'll get us in. So we'll come back after Overwatch has been resolved, and of course combats as well. Just to mention command points as well, I did use my final command point just to re-roll one of the las cannon shots from here, which gave us a kill point there. So the kill points at the moment are actually on 7 to 0 at the moment. Hopefully we'll get another 2 over here, but we'll have to come back after combat phase and then movement for Grey Knights on their turn 2. Right, so just back after the combat phase, before we move into the Grey Knights movement on their turn 2, Magnus absolutely tore apart the Grandmaster. He's on 2 wounds at the moment. However, the Grandmaster, he did smack Magnus back in the face a few times, took 3 wounds off him, so Magnus is down to 15. He's not affected at the moment. But apart from that, that was all of the combats that we had to resolve. So we'll come back after movement for the Grey Knights on their turn 2. We are only at turn 2 and there's not a lot on the board for the Grey Knights. But, I mean, the 1,000 Suns have lost a couple of models, but with both armies being quite an elite army, I would like to think, everything that we lose is a big hit. So, although the 1,000 Suns do outnumber the Grey Knights at the moment, so we are dishing out a lot of hurt. Everything we lose is a bit of a problem here. Just to mention as well, earlier on, I don't know if I mentioned it, but these guys did pass their morale. And these Terminators as well, they're absolutely fine. Well, they can't fail anyway, so they're fine. So we will come back after movement for the Grey Knights on their turn 2. So we're just back in the middle of Graham's movement, just before he started to move everything. Graham's not actually here at the moment, but just looking at the way that the points are at the moment, it does feel as though that the 1,000 Suns are doing rather well in this game. Done a lot better than I expected, to be honest. But just looking at a couple of the units as well, just a couple of unit changes. I think with the addition of the Hellbrute, he hasn't managed to shine as well as I wanted him to. But I think his target priority wasn't the best against the Colexus, but we needed to take him out. But doing quite well in this game against the Grey Knights. I think they've been a bit unlucky with positioning as well, but I don't think that Helldrake will be around in the next turn. So at the moment, like I say, the score's currently 7-0 for the Grey Knights. They certainly need to get some points. And to be fair, I think if Graham and maybe pull out of combat from there and maybe get some firepower in from the Terminators maybe to take the Terminators out, the one being 2, and a potential assault down here. Don't really know what he's going to do to try and get back at me at this stage. It's a bit of a bloodbath. But just to mention as well, some of the terrain, obviously we've been making some custom terrain this way as well. Graham's been hard at work doing that. And of course the rest of this terrain is from gamemat.eu. There's a lot of other channels that have obviously used the same type of terrain as well. A lot of good channels out there that are using this terrain, as well as the mat as well that we use. So certainly check gamemat.eu out for the mouse mat materials, as well as the resin terrain. The resin terrain's amazing. Hopefully in the future we'll have some more terrain as well. But I think at the moment doing quite well. So we'll come back after movement for the Grey Knights on their turn 2. Right, so just back after the movement phase for the Grey Knights on their turn 2. So these Terminators have just shifted down a little bit further forward just to maybe get some shots at the tank. Don't think they'll be able to target the character. Over this side, these Terminators have just hopped over the barricades through there. The Grandmaster is still in combat there. Hopefully he'll be able to knock some wounds off Magnus. Across this side, the Interceptors just round here. They've just shifted around the corner. I don't think there's a great deal there they're going to be able to do. And the two Nemesis Dread Knights look as though that they're going to converge on the Helldrake. I don't think that's going to survive. It'll be very, very lucky if he does on 2 wounds. But we have a Psychic phase as well as shooting to cover. So we'll come back after the Grey Knights have resolved their Psychic and shooting phase on turn 2. Just to mention as well, Graham has used some command points just in combat as well as shooting, and he currently has 3 left to use. I have none. So we'll come back after Psychic and shooting. Right, so we are just back after the Psychic and shooting phase for Grey Knights on their turn 2. Psychic phase not too bad actually. Over here we got Vortex of Doom from these guys, and Smite from the Grandmaster did a total of 6 wounds on Magnus and brought him down to 9 wounds. So that has dropped him a bracket there. Nothing really much to worry about for that, but it does weaken him a bit. Over this side, as you can see, Helldrake was brought down. Didn't think you'd survive. We'll cover that very quickly, but first of all, these guys, the Interceptors, trying to cast Gate of Infinity on this Nemesis Dread Knight, so that Graham could have pulled him over to help out the Warlord, but unfortunately didn't get it off. However, together with the Heavy Incinerators, this guy split his fire, so he fired the Heavy Incinerator at the Helldrake along with this one. However, his Gatling weapon fired at the Terminators and did no damage. Did get a wound on them, but that was from the Terminators behind just the compound over there. Not enough to break morale over that side, but kill point on the board for the Grey Knights there. So no further shooting to do, just the ongoing assaults here. Do you have any other further charges to set off, Graham?
Yes, I've got the Terminators into Magnus to help out the Grandmaster, and I've got the Terminators into your Sorcerer.
Terminators into the Sorcerer. Oh, just to remember as well, these also shot into the Sorcerer and dealt out 3 wounds. So might as well roll for the charge distance. I know it's a little bit out of sync, guys, but we always roll for the charge distance, then we'll just resolve the Overwatch.
Yeah.
So 7, so they'll be in even if I do take one of them out. And over there, are they charging into Magnus?
Into Magnus, yeah.
So that is a 5. I don't think that's going to all be in. You should be able to make contact with a few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. No problem at all. So we'll come back after combat has been resolved. And we will continue on from there. So we'll be back after combat phase is done. Alright, so we are just back after the assault phase for the Grey Knights on their turn 2, and just about moving the movement phase for Thousand Suns for their turn 3. And yes, it is only turn 2, and there's just carnage all over. There's stuff starting to die left, right, and centre. So combat's over here. The Terminators didn't do any damage against Magnus, but the Warlord has reduced him down to 7 wounds. I did attack back. I decided to be nice, and I attacked the Terminators. With the Warlord only being on 2 wounds, I don't really need that many points. So it is a friendly game. I'm not playing for competitive, so I decided to attack the Terminators and killed 3 of them. Graham is going to still continue on because there is certain things he can do to potentially get a lot of points back if he's lucky. So we may call it, we may not, but I've still got my turn to come up first. So depending on what I do on my turn, that'll more than likely decide the game here. So we'll come back after movement phase. We'll also resolve the morale for these Terminators down here. But apart from that, we'll be back after movement for Thousand Suns on their turn 3. Right, so just back after movement phase for the Thousand Suns on their turn 3. So we have fell out of combat with the Exalted Sorcerer, and we're staying still with the Predator, just so you can get some nasty las cannon shots against the Terminators. Magnus staying in combat over there. Just everyone moving up. The Warlord, he's just come scooting across on his disc behind this rock here. The Rubrics, they've just moved up there 5 inches. More than likely going to try and warp time them to get them a little bit closer. Maybe he's got some shots off at the Nemesis Dread Knights or potentially across here. This doesn't block line of sight. Obviously, if you have watched any of our other battle reports, you'll know we just put it there because it looks cool. There is a couple of line side blockers, of course, with the rocks and the Manufactorum. Hellbrute, he's just come along just to get some shots through. We're not counting the trees, so straight line of fire against them. And the 2 Exalted Sorcerers just moving up in tandem just along here. The Terminators, they just turned around just to get some pot shots at the Nemesis Dread Knight over there as well. So we'll do a very quick psychic and shooting phase, and we'll more than likely continue with the assaults over there. So we'll come back after shooting's been resolved. Right, we're just back after the psychic and shooting for the Thousand Suns on their turn 3, and the Grey Knights have called it. So, go over the reasons why. So psychic phase, nothing really to mention over this side. Only real thing to note of was we dealt smite and dealt 3 mortal wounds, killed a Terminator and put one on 1 wound. Shooting, tried to fire from the Predator into them, missed 3 shots and did no damage on the wound. He's performed a little bit underwhelming today, apart from taking out that Dreadnought. Across here, everything across from the Terminators to the Hellbrute, to the Rubrics. The Rubrics did warp time forward as well. We all fired into the Nemesis Dread Knight and destroyed it. We didn't actually we totally forgot how many wounds he had left. So he had 2 wounds left, and this Sorcerer here fired his Bolter, got 2 hits, needed 6s to wound, rolled 2 6s, and Graham failed both of the saves. So unfortunate there. So as the Burning Wrecks are across, you know, obviously the Helldrake, the Burning Cinders of the Grey Knights, they have retreated. The Warlord's still intact, so he vows vengeance against the Thousand Suns. So points as we come to the end is 8-1 to the Thousand Suns. So Thousand Suns are, at the moment, they will be tying top spot for Graham's Necrons. Because the Necrons have won 2 games, one against the Tyranids and one against the Eldar, and the Thousand Suns have won against the Imperial Fists and now today against the Grey Knights. We're not counting the Eldar game at the beginning because we got a lot of rules wrong on that game. So I think what that means is that we're probably going to have a Necron versus Thousand Suns game in the near future. But apart from that, guys, it's been a brutal game today. We've literally haven't even gotten to the Grey Knight's 3rd turn. It's been absolutely brutal game of Purge the Alien. Thanks very much for watching, guys. If you haven't already seen the channel, please give us a like and a sub. Check out the other videos as well. The army overviews and also the Get It Painted challenge that I'm doing for Idic Beer. Certainly check out Idic Beer's channel as well to keep up to date with that. I have put a video online about what I'm working on at the moment. But apart from that, guys, thanks very much, and until next time, happy wargaming.